So what's the difference between, we all know the difference between listening and hearing. Listening, we'll go one ear out the other sometimes. Hearing, we process, we understand what we're telling us. That leads me to my topic, which is the influence that hip-hop music has had on our generation, past generations, and it'll keep on having influence because hip-hop is mainly talking to the youth. While it's talking to the youth, we're all the youth right now, the youth in high school and teenagers, and they talk to everybody. According to Nelson's report in 2014, when compared to 10 other genres, hip-hop accounted for 28.5 of all streams last year. Rock was next in line in 23.5. Now, hip-hop has had its controversy ever since it started in the 1980s, starting with all the music that came out because it sounded like a lot of noise at first. It just sounded like a bunch of noise, and it didn't have like the comparison they had with rock because it felt like rock had a message. Now the difference with hip-hop is that you have to listen to what they say. You can't just get it just by hearing it one time. You have to go back, play the track over and over again just to understand the message that they're trying to prove. And a lot of people didn't really think hip-hop had a good message until rappers like Grandmaster Flash, Run DMC, and Sugar Hill Gang came out in the 1980s that put hip-hop in the map. Well, like they say, they put it on the map, and a lot of people started listening to it. And it still got a lot of controversy because it had groups like Two Life Crew that put women down, but it wasn't all their fault because it was also the women at that time that were going along with it. So they were making it seem like, yeah, it's okay that they rap about this stuff because we're okay with it. And that put a bad name to it, and it affected it for a little while. And then another group came out called NWA, a group that most of us probably already know who they are, what those initials stand for. And they came out with a different kind of hip hop, and it was called gangster rap. That rap was a lot more violent, and it was violent for a reason because all of them grew up around Compton, California, and we all know how Compton, California, and how Los Angeles, South Central, and all those areas are. So they rapped about things that was going around their neighborhood. While all that stuff was going around their neighborhood, certain people in the suburbs didn't agree with it because they thought it was just crazy, like this stuff isn't going on in their neighborhood. But when the Rodney King incident happened, a lot of people opened their eyes like, wow, these guys are actually talking about social issues that are going on in their neighborhood. Even though it's not going on in our neighborhood, it's going on around theirs. That made a lot of people open up their eyes, like I stated before. They opened up their eyes and told them, this is what's going on, and you might not know about it, but we're going to let you know about it through our music. And that caused a lot of controversy too, because a lot of people thought it was violent. It was violent at the time, but that's what they grew up around. So that's all they knew, and that's what they rapped about, and people loved it. Before the Rodney King trial happened, the fan base was basically urban, because everybody around urban, like Compton, South Central, LA, and all that, they saw all that stuff happen so they could relate. And that's what hip-hop does. Hip-hop makes you relate to what is going on around you, and sometimes it connects to you personally. That's in the 80s, so that caused a lot of controversy. The next thing is the difference between good artists today and great artists from today. Good artists from today, they talk about the same stuff over and over again in the song. You hear it over and over again, just with a different beat. They talk about sex, violence, drugs, and just a bunch of stuff that you can listen to. Don't hear what they're saying, just listen to it, and just whatever. It's just music you can listen to. Other rappers, like Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole, Jermaine Cole is his federal name. They rap about stuff that makes you think, and that's what separates them from the good artists today. And if you listen to the radio, you won't hear a lot of their music because it doesn't provide that, it doesn't really fall in that stereotype of rap music that they'll make women feel less because of the music that they make. A couple of quotes that J. Cole has said in his songs, and I think is very powerful, is in one of his songs called Crooked Smile, in his album that came out in 2012 called Born Sinner. One of the lines stated, "Love yourself, girl, and nobody will. Though you a woman, I don't know how you feel. How you deal with all pressure to look impressive and go out in heels. I'll feel for you. Killing yourself to find a man that'll kill for you. Wake up, put makeup on. stare in the mirror, but you still can't face what's wrong, then you're fine. Okay. You need to face what God already put his paintbrush on. Stop looking in the mirror, girl. And that's not just the telling women, because it's popular demand that like they say that women take forever just to look good, but it's also guys. Guys do the same thing. But this song makes you think, not really think, but just like, wow. Like, he's okay with having like a crooked smile in the public eye when there's a lot of people just looking at him. And he's okay with that, and if he's okay with it, we should be too, because he's alright. And like, a lot of people look up to him because of the messages he gives out. This is just one of few. He has about 6 albums, and in all 6 albums, I can give you a good message that he gives out in every single song without taking too much time right now. The difference between them is that they actually have something that the youth listens to. They hear what he's saying, and they listen to his message. Other rappers like Migos or Future, they rap about the same stuff: drugs, violence, trafficking, as they call it. And that stuff gets old and annoying because it's just the same thing. Just like I stated, different beat, same rhymes, everything's the same. But with these guys, it's different. There's another one like Kendrick, like I stated, Kendrick Lamar. He just took out his album, To Pimp a Butterfly, a couple months ago, and that song took over a lot of youth's mind because it had a great message through it. As of right now, it's sold 500,000 copies, so that means 500,000 people are listening to what Kendrick has to say. And there was a lot more streams to that, so that means there's 1 million more people in the world that hear what Kendrick has to say. And while he was born in Compton too, he uses the metaphor that the famous gangs, Crips and Bloods, which we all know who they are, we all know what they're all about. He uses them in one of his songs called Hood Politics in his album, To Pimp a Butterfly. He goes from Compton to Congress, set tripping all around. And nothing new, but instead of demo Crips and Republicans. Red state versus the blue state, which one you jumping in? And that one, he's an artist that makes you think, like, wow, he's comparing Crips and Bloods to Democrats and Republicans. He's comparing them as a gang, because in reality, they kind of are, because they don't like each other, and that's how rivalries start. They start with not liking each other. The difference between them and the gangs is that those politicians, they have something to lose. While the people in the streets, they don't really have a lot to lose. So they don't take as much action. So they're still considered as thugs, but it's still not viewed that way because they don't take actions like other people do, which is understandable, but also remember that they have everything to lose, while people in the streets and the urban don't have much to lose. Now, like I stated before, rap music is responsible for its violent content that it has, but I would rather hear the violent content from somebody that's going through it than I'd rather go through it myself. Now, a lot of us didn't really grow up in a bad neighborhoods. Some of us did, some of us didn't. And most of these rappers, they come out of the gang life, so that's what they know about. It's just gang life and stuff like that. But I'd rather hear it from them than to have first-hand experience, because I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to be getting shot at. I'd rather be hearing somebody getting shot at, because then I'll just feel safe. I'll be like, you know what, I'm not going to do that stuff, because hearing from what he did, that'll lead me to that position. And you grow as a person too, but then you learn from other people's mistakes. So you hear the music, you hear what they say. Another example of the content is a rapper, along with Kendrick, his name was J-Rock. He had a verse that is pretty violent, but it's pretty true. It's imagine rock abandoned projects where them boys pick your pockets, Santa Claus stole Mr. Stockings, liquor spilling, pistols popping, baking soda all the way in. Ain't no turkey on Thanksgiving. My homeboys just going to kill it. I just hope the Lord forgive them. Just with that few lines right there, it shows how violent it is. And it's saying, like, you know, sometimes in urban neighborhoods, Santa Claus doesn't come around all the time because the parents don't have the money to support the kids and give them what they want. Baking soda, all the whipping, that means those guys in the ghetto are providing for the family in a bad way, which is like oxymoron, because they have to provide to them by selling crack, and that's what he means by baking soda all the way through. That means he's making the crack. So you gotta like dig into what they say sometimes, so you can hear what they say. And while this kind of music you don't really hear in the radio. Why is that? I can't answer that question. And it kind of sucks because a lot of people think hip hop music is bad influence, but you gotta dig deep into what they're saying. And there's a couple websites that help, like Rap Genius. If you click on a line, they'll explain line for line, like what is he trying to say. And that's how I feel about rap music, and it should stop being underappreciated. It should stop being appreciated because they do a lot, not just with their music. There's another rapper, he goes by Chance the Rapper. I know it's kind of hard to take hip hop serious with these names that they give themselves, but that's how it is. And he's doing something good for the kids in Chicago because, as we know, Chicago is being very violent right now. And he has an open mic concert every day so far this month. And he does it so he can have all the kids from the youth just stop being in the streets and go into poetry and music, because that's the better way. And that's all I have to say. Thanks for your time.
Sarah, what did you think?
Well, first off, you seem very passionate about this topic, and but the only problem is that I saw that you kind of looked more towards the audience over there, and you kind of ignored us. But maybe that's okay too. And then I really liked how you're able to use the evidence of like using the lyrics, because then you're able to break down like. Because, like, I guess when you are listening to songs, especially in rap or hip-hop, like, they rap pretty fast. So, you don't really get the concept of what they say sometimes, but when how you broke it down, it was able to, like, at least I thought I was able to understand it more. And the other thing I thought you could work on was just, like, maybe, like using a little bit more tone in your voice, just sound like I know you sound passionate, but it's better to like have more like woo, so yeah, like, but other than that, I thought you did pretty good.
Sergio's a low-key guy, and we don't want him to be different in his persona too much, but I know exactly what you're talking about. A little bit more energy, a little bit more animation. You don't have to be shouting, and you don't have to be mugging for us, but it's an audience, and you got to connect with them, and you're so sincere with what you want to say, and I think everybody sees that there's passion that's going on there, and we want you to be a little bit more engaging on the delivery things. And you kind of stand there with your hands in your pockets a lot, and sometimes you're turning off to the side, and it's just, if you were talking to people and you were having this conversation, you'd be a little bit more animated. I'm sure if you were talking to people at lunch and you're just, this is ridiculous, an occasional gesture, shaking your head or something, just a little bit more like that. I like the examples that you have. I think that those are good illustrations. What I need is a little bit more information that shows that those sorts of things have an effect, that people react to it. I mean, it's really more a value argument that you're making here, that there's a particular form of hip-hop that really does have value to it, that's important to the culture, and that we should be paying attention to it. That's your claim, and that needs to be a lot clearer at the beginning of the speech. It sounds at the beginning like you're just going to be describing what hip-hop is, and I wasn't sure what we're supposed to be convinced of. By the end, I thought it was a little bit clearer, but at the beginning, it's not as clear. All right, I managed to get through 3 sentences without coughing, so I'm going to cut my losses.